Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. In today's video, we're going to be installing an ambient lighting kit to the interior of my Tesla Model Y using this kit from LightingBugTech. I'm really excited to break into this, see what it's all about. I'm going to go through everything that's included in the kit, and we're going to do a step-by-step install on how to add ambient lights all over the inside of your Tesla. It's going to be really cool. Let's get into it. So we're going to start off with a quick unboxing and overview of everything that's included in this kit from LightingBugTech. This is an entire ambient light kit for your Tesla Model 3s or Model Ys. So first off, when you open this up, you get a little diagram. It tells you what's in each spot corresponding to the actual foam cutouts here. I want to start off by talking about this and the actual power harness here. This is all going to plug in right beneath your rear passenger air vent. So in that kind of OBD port, onboard diagnostics port, that's below there. I've installed things there before, like a rear screen. If you're familiar with that, you're going to know exactly where this cord goes. There's a little pry-off part, but I'll show you all that soon. This is the actual control box that is going to be attached back there as well. So you can kind of see where we're going to be adding light here. Footwell lights in both the front and rear passenger and driver side footwells. Really cool there. Door lights, if you have access to the door lights there, that's going to be really cool. On this side, you get the center console light and the dashboard light, and then a power cord to plug it all in. All of this is going to be app controlled using the little app that you get from scanning this QR code. There's other awesome lights and other little goodies. A lot of this video is going to be me hooking up wires and tucking things away, so I'll try to cut out the boring parts or speed through them, but it's going to be a great install. I'm really looking forward to doing it. So let's head over to the car, and I'm going to start step by step what you need to do to install this kit, and we'll get some great footage of what it looks like during the day and at night. Let's head over there. So the first thing we're going to do, the first section of light we're going to install, is this actual center light strip that fits down here, kind of right between our air vent and our actual dash. If you look in here, there is an actual little slit, if you can kind of see that. There's a little tiny slit right here, which is actually where I'm going to be installing the light. So in that slit, I'm going to go ahead and grab my light and start actually installing it and just kind of feeding it up into that lip. There is a little bit of an adhesive strip on the back of the light they include. If you'd like to use that, go ahead. My actual slit right here isn't loose, so I'm not going to need to use that adhesive strip. I'm just going to let it go as it is, and there's enough tension on it to hold it together. So as you get to this end over here, you want to take the actual long extension piece, and this is going to be routed all the way to the back of that rear OBD port, where I'll show you guys a little bit later. But just as you get around this corner, you can easily pry off this little corner panel here, move that out of the way, and just fish your wire kind of down in there. And then I'll show you where it goes kind of underneath our steering wheel here. So once you have it kind of stuck up in that slit, routed around behind here and through this little access panel, we're actually going to take this wire and run it all the way along right in this little gap here underneath your steering column, over right here underneath the actual kind of armrest. You can kind of pry this up a little bit and hide wires under there. We're going to go all the way back here, all the way to the back. So I'm going to start working on that next. So we just ran the driver's side wire all the way along the actual center console here. We're going to kind of do the same thing with this light. This fits right above our phone charger and kind of lights up this area too. And we're going to route it the same way, down these little cracks and along the actual strip all the way to the back here. So we're going to work on that next. So this is what it looks like from the back. You actually have the wire coming up right here and kind of tuck it underneath this little, I don't know, piece of armrest trim. Same on the other side with the actual dash lights. It's just coming out right here as well. The next step is actually going to be prying off. If you just have the air vent here, it'll just be the air vent cover. It's very, very simple. You just grab both sides and kind of pull it out with some plastic or metal tabs. And also we're going to need access to our OBD port back down here. I have an extended OBD port cover, so mine might look a little different than yours, but it's actually the installation process is going to be exactly the same. So we're going to go ahead and pull those off next and start plugging in our actual OBD wires and our power connector and see how it looks so far. Then you can kind of see we have access down here to the actual OBD port. I have another accessory plugged in here, actually a couple, but we're going to be using this little part. Normally it'll just be this white plug plugged into that white plug, but you can daisy chain accessories down here together, no problem at all. And we're going to be using some of this space to attach our controller and some of the other things that we're going to be doing here shortly. So down here under the OBD port, I'm going to be unplugging it right here by this actual blue plug and plugging in the cord that came with the kit. This one's very simple. It's just one cord that's going to provide power to all of our lights. So if I come down here and move some of these other accessories out of the way, it should be very simple. Let's push that tab, pull that out of the way, and then kind of go ahead and plug in your new kit. It should only fit one way. There's a male and a female to female. So let's see, that way. And then this side's going to come over here, plug into that side. So pretty simple, just like that. And then we're going to actually kind of tuck these back under here. This is why I have the extended port, because I have a lot of stuff. And we're going to take our actual power lead from there, and we're going to find our little box, and we're going to plug in the power cord. So it should only fit in one spot and only one way. Let's see if we can find it. I think it goes this way. Give that a plug in, and that should be kind of our power. If I have everything kind of hooked up right, that should be the way to go. Next, we're going to come and do some of the other lights. So we'll go into those steps next. While we're back here, I found it much easier to go ahead and route the cord up through this little channel down here from the bottom. And you just route this actual power cord through that little slot. It's very easy to do. We've done it with some other accessories before. And then actually plug my box in up here, because this is where I'm going to actually have my box. So now that I have the actual power cord, this is coming from my dash. And I kind of routed it in over here. We're going to plug in the dash lights. Looks like right there, dashboard light. Make sure to line that up. And that turns on beautifully up front. Then we're going to pull the other side we did all the way coming down this right side here next to our passenger seat. And this is going to be our, looks like our center console light. So we're going to go ahead and plug that in as well. And that turned on beautifully. So awesome. We got a lot of great things going on already. I can see the lights working up there. We're going to keep going with, I think the Footwell lights are next, routing those up to the front and the rear here. So next, I think is going to be one of the trickiest parts of the install is actually installing the Footwell lights. You get 4 of these, and so you want them in your front passenger and driver footwells, as well as underneath your front and driver seats, so the back seat area gets some of that ambient light as well. I'm going to show you how to install all those footlights. But important note, you also get 4 splitters within the kit. This goes from 1 plug over to 2. And we're going to use these in a few different areas. We're going to split off that Footwell light to do the back seat. So you'll see where I use these in a little while, but you get 4 splitters as well. The next big piece that you're going to need is this kind of really long wire. It's labeled really well, so don't get too overwhelmed by it. This has some Chinese labels on it, but this is actually going to be the side that goes into your power harness. That's your little box down there. It splits off into 2 kind of shorter wires right here, which are going to be your Footwell lights for your front and rear kind of underneath these seats, and 2 longer wires, which we're going to run all the way up to the front footwells of your actual passengers and drivers. So it looks complicated. It's 1 plug that goes into 4. So I'll just show you where to route the wires, and hopefully it all makes sense as we come together. So I'm going to take the end of my plug that connects to my actual connector here and run it up underneath my air vent, just kind of like some of these other wires I've done. So just kind of come from down here, make sure you're not running into any of these other plugs. And there's a nice little gap, and you just run this kind of wire up and come down in here. You can usually fish it through. I have both the Footwell wires coming out kind of right over here in this area over the actual track of my seat, and just leaving enough slack so if I do move the seat, it's not going to pinch anything. And I really want to run it under this little carpeted liner here, kind of all the way around, and kind of get it up coming around here, which is where I'm going to actually attach it to this little bar right here for this rear Footwell light. And I'm going to keep going with the front Footwell light. So that's what we're working on next. Moving on, just continuing to tuck it under this little piece of carpeted trim here. And we're going to get this little wire all the way up to our front Footwell light up under there. So I'm just going to keep hiding this under the trim, pull it back a little bit, kind of stick the wire in, make sure it's nice and hidden. And there should be plenty of room underneath this piece of plastic trim, which we've pulled out tons of times to do different wiring and stuff. I'm just going to run it all the way up and along there. When you have the cord routed kind of down along here in this area, we're actually going to need to remove this little kick panel underneath here. There's 3 little push toggles. Go ahead and pop them out. Then you should be able to route your actual cord up there, plug it into one of your Footwell lights. So when you get to this point, go ahead and pop out your old Footwell light. You won't be needing that one, at least for right now, and take your new one from the actual kit that came with it. And we want the wire heading towards the right. So I'm going to put it in this way. Let's see if it'll just snap in here for us. Yeah, Perfect. And I have my wire kind of heading over here now, so I can finish kind of buttoning up this area, connecting my wire that I ran from the back, and putting all these cords back up underneath, as well as the push toggles. So moving back to the back, I went ahead and plugged in the Footwell lights to my actual controller up there, and I'm going to be using one of these splitters to come down here, and I'm going to split off of this one for my rear Footwell light to also be able to do the back of my chair here. So that's my next plan: install the splitter and then start working on the driver's side Footwell light system. So I went ahead and did the driver's side exactly the same way as I did the passenger side. And here I have the little split coming out from underneath, which is the same as right here. I'm going to use one of my Footwell lights that I have remaining, this guy. We're going to go ahead and plug him in. And where you attach him is the kit calls for just a zip tie around this actual kind of seat harness right here. So it kind of shines the light kind of at the floor and a little bit back, especially when the seat is back the whole way. So I'm going to work on that, and I'll show you what it looks like when I'm done. So this should be kind of what it looks like, just a little zip tie around the actual wire. I'm going to go ahead and clean some of these wires up when I kind of finish the install, but kind of what it looks like. The split running to the front and the back. Now I have one split right here, which is going to be able to do my back seat rest as well. The next step I'm going to work on is installing the ambient light along this back seat kind of plastic trim here. So it uses these kind of LED spotlights where you're actually going to plug in a tube and it's going to go all the way around the outside. And I'm actually going to have this little part plug in all the way down here where I did that splitter. So to start, you kind of want to go between where your seat belt is and kind of get it down under and beneath here so we can reach down into that splitter. So we're going to start up in the front seat, then I'll show you how to put the tape on and do all this back area. So right between where my actual seat belt is and the seat is where I kind of ran the wire. You can see the LED coming out, and it just comes down all the way below here, and I plugged it into that splitter. So I'll tidy all that up when it's time. But now I'm going to start applying that actual clear wire all the way along up in here with some actual adhesive, and that's where it's going to stick and kind of show on the back seats. The clear tubing I just plugged into the LED actual housing down there, the one that shines the light all the way through. Now I'm going to apply tape to this actual second kind of adhesive strip here, so when it comes time to stick it to the back of my plastic seat, I have a little bit of adhesion there all the way around. So that's my plan. So it should look a little something like this when you get it all installed. All the way around the back, that adhesive worked great, and I just had to cut off the excess down there by the door. So super simple. I'm going to work on that side next. So we went ahead and wrapped up the light all the way across the driver's back seat as well. The last set that I'm going to hook up is the two lights that go all the way around the actual center armrest console. So I have this plugged into my control box down there. I'm going to show you how to route these wires and tuck in another set of that clear tubing. And that should be about it. Well, everything is hooked up now and working. The next step is really going to be going through and buttoning up all the wires that I have kind of hanging out, reinstalling my little cover at the bottom and the top here for my dash screen. Just going to go ahead and tuck in some of the wires, and I'll show you the completed look here in a second. So I went ahead and got everything kind of buttoned up. I put the whole rear dash screen back. Fitted that little cover back there to cover up the OBD port. Everything looks extremely nice and clean. Once you take a little bit of time and just kind of hide your wires, it looks extremely nice. I'm super happy with how all of this looks all around both seats. I'm going to have some amazing footage to show you guys at night, but I just wanted to show you a quick kind of dirty cleanup that I did. I did vacuum everything to make it look a little bit nicer in here. But as we go around to the front, I'll show you guys the front part. So you get your Footwell lights down on the bottom. Right now, I just have it set to red, but you can do just about anything you want with these lights. Red all across the dash and actually all up in here too. So I'm really happy with how everything kind of turned out and got cleaned up. I'm going to spend a little time getting some footage tonight, and I'm going to, put it all over here and show you guys how it all looks. And we'll come back tomorrow with my final thoughts, and I'll show you guys how the app works and kind of all that good stuff. As I'm wrapping up here and kind of cleaning up the car and getting everything buttoned up, I want to point out all the things that I used in the kit and then a couple things I didn't. So in the kit, get this piece of paper out of the way, I used all the splicing harnesses except one. I didn't end up using this one because this kit also comes with a door lighting kit. You'll notice something different about my Model Y. I have a 2022 Model Y but I do not have the updated doors where that wooden trim continues all the way along the door panel. So I don't have a particular area to install the actual included door lights that come with this kit. There's 2 additional strips in here that'll attach kind of over on your doors on each side of your driver and passenger side door, but I don't have the right doors for it, so I didn't install it here, which is where this split would come from. So maybe you've seen pictures of that kind of ambient lights going all the way across the door. I'll put some here on the screen. I don't have that option for my Model Y. My kit also came with a couple LED puddle lights, which is interesting. I'm not sure what design these are. I might take a look at them later, but a couple different puddle lights that you can use down at the bottom of your doors. Right now I have my Chiefs one installed, but you can also do Tesla ones. But it came with some puddle lights, so I thought that was cool as well. But other than that, I used everything within this kit. There was one point where I did have to use the small torque screwdriver, and that was down under the driver's side footwell to remove the panel for the footwell light. So just make sure you actually catch that as well. But the rest of this was all an amazing kit. Came with everything I needed to do all the work, pry tool, screwdriver, little Torx wrench, everything was there, the tape. So really awesome kit, great quality, and I'm really looking to show you guys how it looks tonight. We'll show you that next. So as part of this package from LightingBugTech, you actually get a customizable app that you can use to control all the colors and all the different variations of modes in your car. Me, I prefer just the static look, generally red because I like the red accents in the car, but there's so much more you can do with it. Once you scan the little QR code on the control box underneath behind your air vents down there, you download this app called LED Lamp, and it gives you a couple different options. It pairs right up and pairs right to your car. This one over here actually controls all the lights and all the colors on both the dash strips, all the way around, the footwell lights, pretty much everything. And you have an entire color wheel to choose from, also some presets if there's some colors you really like, and you can also control the brightness. So I like to keep mine on the red, somewhere between the 20 and the 40 mark. And that way it's not too bright, especially during the day. It's very kind of subtle, but then at nighttime you can still see it and it's not overwhelming, right? So I like to keep it kind of right there. What you can also do is if you go over to this RGB icon, then you can actually control independently. If you want to control these lights down here and in your footwells, you can control them independent from your actual dash strip and the strip that goes right above your wireless chargers there. So pretty cool. Lots of color options as you can kind of see. I like to kind of do them at the same time because I like them kind of in sync, but if you want different options there of just static colors, you can do that. You can also go into this mode button and then you get a bunch of different kind of 7-color jump. This makes your car go crazy into party mode. You can control the speed of that. You want it really fast or nice and slow. Say it goes yellow, blue, purple, so all the different colors there. So lots of options for modes for all the different ways you can do the lights. There's also like a 7-color breathe, which I kind of like. It rotates through all of them in a nice pattern without super flashing. So I like that one a lot too. So let's go back and we're going to show you this one now, which actually controls just your light strip on the front, just kind of your dash strip. So all kinds of different stuff you can do with that one, static colors, and you can see my one down here is still going to what I had it set at before. So if I go into the mode on this one, there's over 200 I saw different kind of options here. Forward 7 colors. Let's see, forward, yellow, cyan, violet. Let's see, backwards, forwards, auto trailing, forward trailing. So tons of different options. I have my dash strip different than down here. And then to kind of reset it all, I'll just go back and put them all back to kind of the red that I like. And there you go. And keep that brightness right around that 30 mark. And that's my settings. That's what I really like. So super customizable with the app. I really, really like how it all kinds of turns out. And you can even see in the back, it's the same way. So I'll take you to the back here. And my custom strips back here on the back are actually kind of the same way. You can kind of see it all kind of works. It all changes. So you get your custom Footwell lighting in the back, as well as all the different modes on your rear seats and everything else. So really cool. Big fan of how the app works. So just to wrap up, I thought I'd give you my final thoughts about this lighting kit from LightingBugTech. I think this is the top-notch lighting kit that you can get for your Tesla Model 3 or Model Y. It adds such a opportunity for customization, for self-expression, for doing all those kind of fun things. I really think it elevates the interior of their car from something kind of plain and boring to a really cool way to accentuate, accessorize, and express yourself for what you want. I love the ambient lighting. I think it really looks great. Overall, the kit was fairly easy to install if you kind of know what you're doing and take your time. There are some fiddly pieces, like making sure it fits in all the different areas and all the grooves that it's designed to fit in, but just take your time through it and it actually works. I would say the total install took me about an hour while I was kind of filming everything and doing all the work that it takes to install it. Just take your time and make sure you're not pinching any wires or doing anything crazy, and it actually works really well. I'm super impressed with the actual kit from LightingBugTech. I think you guys will be too. For its value, it's actually a really good deal. They offer 3 different tiers of kits that you can get. A standard kit, which is just your dash light and your center console light up here above your wireless charger. Then that's like the basic. And then a standard kit, which includes additional kind of the Footwell lighting, and I think your back seat lighting here, as well as those first 2. Then a deluxe kit, which is what I got for this video, which is why it included the actual projection lights on the ground that I didn't install, and the door kits, which I couldn't install on my Model Y. But if you have the model for those things, that's the kit I'd recommend. There's only like a $20 difference in between each of the kits, so probably go with the deluxe one. I think is the best deal. If you do shop at LightingBugTech, make sure you use my discount code right here on the screen, GAML1080, saves you 10% on any of their products. So hopefully you guys will find something that works out for you. Let me know down below if you've installed ambient lighting. What's been your favorite ones? Have you done the puddle lights? Have you done the rear projection light? Have you done anything inside? Let me know what you guys actually think about it. I always like engaging with you guys down there. Would this be a product that you'd be interested in installing in your car? Let me know. If you're interested in any of the other accessories that I've added to my Tesla, there'll be a playlist down in the description. All my Model Y videos are there, as well as check out my Amazon storefront. It's where I've gotten tons of accessories. I recommend tons of products on there, and a link to that will be in the description as well. Thank you guys for coming back to this video. I appreciate you as always. Feel free to like and subscribe, and we'll catch you in the next one. Have a great day.